My stepmom accused me of SA to block me from my inheritance, and my dad believed her and cut me off. 7 years later, the truth came out, and everything flipped. Hello, Reddit I plus here. I'm 28 now, but everything that ruined my life started when I was 16, and it all came from one lie. A lie so serious it erased me from my own father's life for 7 years. I'll try to explain this the best I can. My parents divorced when I was 9. It wasn't messy, no screaming matches, no court drama. Just two people who realized they weren't meant to stay married. I stayed with my mother during the week because of school, and weekends were for my dad. For a while, things felt normal. Then he met her. Her name was Morel. I was 11 when I met her, and she came with 2 daughters, both older than me by a few years. Loud, entitled, always demanding attention. The complete opposite of me. I was quiet, kept to myself, tried not to cause trouble. At first, Morel acted like the perfect stepmother, smiling, asking about school, buying me small things. I thought I got lucky. That illusion didn't last long. A few months after she married my dad, everything changed. One morning, when my dad had already left for work, she sat me down and spoke in a tone I had never heard before. Cold, flat, almost bored. She told me straight up that she didn't like me, not even a little. She said I reminded her too much of my mother, and that I should stay out of her way when my dad wasn't home, that we would pretend to get along for his sake. I was 12. I didn't even know how to process that. It got worse. Her daughters picked up on it immediately. They started mocking me, saying I wasn't really part of the family, that my dad loved them more. I told my mom once, just once. That was enough. My dad called me sounding confused, almost annoyed. Said I must have misunderstood, that Morel would never say something like that. That same weekend, she cornered me again, and this time, she wasn't pretending. She told me if I ever spoke up again, she'd make sure I lost my father completely. That she'd take everything from him if I caused problems. I believed her. I stayed quiet after that. For years, I lived 2 different lives. At my mom's place, I could breathe. At my dad's house, I walked on eggshells. She would insult me constantly when no one was around. My looks, my weight, my voice, anything she could target. Sometimes she'd take us out to eat and not let me order real food. I'd sit there with something small while they ate full meals. I remember going to bed hungry more times than I can count. My dad never saw any of it, or maybe he just didn't want to. When I was 14, we went on a family trip. That was the first time I snapped. They were making fun of me again, laughing, pushing, making little comments disguised as jokes. And something in me just broke. I fired back. I said things I shouldn't have said. And of course, that was the only thing my dad saw. Not years of buildup, just that one moment. I was forced to apologize. She cried, played the victim perfectly. After that, I learned something important. If I reacted, I lost. So I stopped reacting. At 16, everything escalated. My mom had to travel for a few days, so I stayed at my dad's place longer than usual. I tried to keep my head down. On my last night there, I decided to cook dinner. My mom had taught me well, and honestly, I just wanted one peaceful evening. Morel invited her friends over. I cooked for everyone, and they loved it. They praised me. For once, I felt seen. That night, after everyone had eaten, I went to my room, and that's when I heard them. Her voice, loud enough to carry through the window, laughing about me, calling me useless, saying she had hoped I'd mess up dinner so she could embarrass me, saying she couldn't wait until I turned 18 so she wouldn't have to deal with me anymore. Her friends didn't even argue, they laughed with her. I wish I could say that was the worst part. It wasn't, not even close. The real nightmare started when I turned 21. My grandfather had left me a trust, not massive, but enough to change my future. Education, stability, maybe even a small business someday. My dad knew about it. So did she. A few weeks before I was supposed to gain access, everything exploded. She accused me of something I didn't even know how to defend against. She told my dad I had tried to assault her. I won't go into details, but the accusation alone was enough. I was shocked, confused. I couldn't even speak properly. When my dad confronted me, I denied it. Of course I did. But it didn't matter. She cried, she shook, she had a story ready. And my dad believed her, without hesitation. That was the day I lost my father. He didn't hit me, didn't yell. Honestly, I think that hurt more. He just looked at me like I was a stranger, like I disgusted him. He told me to leave and not come back. I tried to fight it at first, tried to explain, begged him to listen. But when someone decides who you are, logic doesn't matter anymore. I was cut off, blocked, erased. Even extended family distanced themselves. No one wants to be associated with someone accused of something like that. My inheritance? Gone. He made sure of it. The next 7 years were quiet, painfully quiet. I built my life from scratch, worked, studied, struggled. My mom was the only one who stood by me. Everyone else either believed the lie or didn't care enough to question it. Eventually, I stopped expecting anything. I stopped hoping he'd come back. And then, last year, everything cracked open. One of Morel's daughters had a falling out with her, a bad one, and suddenly secrets weren't so important anymore. She told the truth, everything, how Morel planned it, how she was afraid my dad would prioritize me once I got the inheritance, how she needed me gone. So she created a story no one would dare question. My dad showed up at my door a month later. I hadn't seen him in 7 years. He looked older, smaller somehow, like life had worn him down. He tried to apologize, said he didn't know, said he was manipulated, said he wanted to fix things. But here's the part I didn't expect. I felt nothing. No anger, no relief, just distance. Like he was someone I used to know. Now he keeps reaching out, calling, messaging, asking to meet. He says he's divorcing her, says he regrets everything, says I'm still his son. But I don't know if that still means anything, because when it mattered most, he chose her. And that choice lasted 7 years. You don't just undo that. So now I'm stuck. Do I let him back into my life? Or do I keep the peace I fought so hard to build without him? Because part of me still remembers being that kid who waited by the door every weekend. And another part of me remembers being thrown out like I was nothing. I don't know which part should win. So now he keeps calling. At first I ignored it. Unknown number, voicemail after voicemail. Then texts started coming in. Long ones. Apologies, explanations, excuses that all sounded the same. I didn't know. I was protecting my family. I see the truth now. The thing is, none of that changes what he did. For 7 years, he didn't just believe her. He erased me, blocked my number, told relatives to stay away from me, sold the story so well that even people who had known me since I was a kid looked at me differently. You don't come back from that easily. I held out for weeks before I finally responded. Not because I forgave him, but because I needed answers, real ones. Not the watered-down version he was sending over text. We met in a quiet cafe. The moment I saw him, I realized something I hadn't expected. He looked nervous. Not guilty, not ashamed, nervous. Like he didn't know who I was anymore. And honestly, I didn't know who he was either. He tried to hug me. I stepped back. That set the tone immediately. We sat down, and for a while, neither of us spoke. Then he started talking. Fast. Like if he slowed down, he wouldn't be able to say any of it. He told me Morel's daughter had come to him during an argument and thrown everything in his face. Said her mother had made it all up, that she had coached them to stay quiet, that the whole thing was about control and money. I asked him one question. Did you ever doubt her? He hesitated. That was enough. Because if the answer had been no, he would have said it instantly. Instead, he admitted there were moments, small ones, times when things didn't add up, times when my behavior in the past didn't match the image she painted of me. But he chose to ignore those moments, because believing her was easier, because questioning her meant risking his marriage. So he sacrificed me instead. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't argue. I just listened. And the more he talked, the clearer it became. He wasn't just apologizing because he hurt me. He was apologizing because the truth had come out and now he had to face it. There's a difference. I asked him about the inheritance. He looked uncomfortable again, said he had restructured things after the accusation, that he thought it was the responsible thing to do at the time. I laughed. I couldn't help it, because even now, he was still justifying it. 7 years of my life gone, opportunities gone, relationships gone, and he was still trying to make it sound reasonable. Then he said something that almost made me walk out. He said, "We can fix this." Like it was a broken phone screen, like it hadn't been 7 years of silence, shame, and starting from nothing. I told him the truth. You don't get to fix this. You get to live with it. That hit him harder than anything else I said. For the first time, he didn't have a response. After that meeting, I thought he'd back off. He didn't. If anything, he tried harder. He started showing up. Not at my house, but nearby. Places he knew I went to. Not in a creepy way, but in that calculated, accidental way. He sent money once. A large amount. I sent it back immediately. That seemed to break something in him, because after that, the messages changed. Less about fixing things, more about just wanting to be part of my life again, asking about my work, my health. Small things. Things he hadn't cared about for 7 years. Then came the final twist. Morel tried to contact me, blocked a number at first, then emails, then even reaching out through someone else. I didn't respond, until she sent one message that made my hands shake. She said she wanted to clear things up legally. That's when I realized something. This wasn't over for her. This wasn't regret. This was damage control. Apparently, after the truth came out, her life started falling apart. My dad had filed for divorce. One of her daughters had cut contact. People around her were starting to question things. And now she was afraid. Because false accusations don't just disappear when the truth comes out. They leave a trail. And I was part of that trail. She wanted me to say it was a misunderstanding, that things had been blown out of proportion. Basically, she wanted me to help clean up the mess she created. I didn't reply, but I did save everything, every message, every attempt. Because for the first time in years, I had something I didn't have before. Leverage. My dad found out she contacted me. He called, panicked, told me not to respond, said his lawyer was handling things, said she was trying to protect herself. I asked him something simple. Why are you still protecting her? He didn't answer. Because even now, after everything, part of him still was. That told me everything I needed to know. So here's where I am now. My dad wants a relationship. My stepmother wants silence. And I finally have the truth on my side. But the question isn't about them anymore. It's about me. Do I reopen a door that was slammed in my face when I needed it most? Or do I walk away for good and never look back? Because forgiveness sounds nice in theory, but living with what someone did to you is something else entirely. And I don't know if I can sit across from him and not remember the day he chose to believe I was capable of something I didn't do. That kind of thing doesn't fade. It stays. Quiet, permanent. Just like the 7 years I lost.